Hello friends, welcome to our own channel Career Smart Learners, and I'm your Trupti Singhal from our own career classes. In this video series of class 10 maths, we talk about the chapter 4 quadratic equations. This is also from unit 2 algebra quadratic equation. It carries 6 marks in the board's exams. So let's move on. In this video, we see introduction, the general introduction of the quadratic equations. What is that quadratic equation and exactly its a general formula and all. Second point, the quadratic equation and its solution. Third, the method of solving the quadratic equations. In this method of solving the quadratic equations, there are the three mainly method which are categorized as first, factorization method, second, completing square method, and third, but very important, is quadratic formula. The next point is discriminant, and on this point we talk about another point is relationship between the discriminant and the nature of roots. So quadratic equation, what is the general formula and that? So in the mathematics, a quadratic equation is a polynomial. As we see this in a chapter 2 polynomial itself, a quadratic equation is a polynomial, many terms. Other than one term, there is a many terms equations of the second degree. As you can see here, the second degree polynomial is called a quadratic equation, and the general formula is ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0. This equation is in one variable, that would be x, y, and e, where x represents the variable or unknown and a, b, c are the constant, where with a is not equals to 0. This is very important guys, as if a is equals to 0, then we don't have our quadratic equation. It may be the linear or it may be the constant equation. So it must that a is not equals to 0. That means the coefficient of the x square not be 0. The constant a, b, and c are called respectively the quadratic coefficient, the linear coefficient, and the constant term or the free term. We categorize as quadratic equation if the general formula is ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0. As we can see that some students are confused between the coefficients and the variable and the constant. So please make it very clear as we use the coefficients of the equation ABC in our next sums. That's why you have to very much clear about the coefficients and the constants. The coefficients, that means the red one, you can see in this slide, A, B, C are the coefficients. The constant term is the last term. That means it's a free from variable. It's free from variable x, y, z, any. So for example, the quadratic equation is 2x square plus 3x plus 4 is equals to 0. Then the coefficients are 2, 3 and 4. And constant is fourth term. Okay. And as you can see that the quadratic equation, the highest power of the x is 2. Therefore, it must have the zeros for this equation is at most zeros, at most two zeros. Okay, we can say that the zeros or the roots or the solution for the quadratic equation is at most 2. You can say the zeros can be 1 or can be 0 or can be 2. To the quadratic equation and its solution. The next point is quadratic equation and its solution. So check whether, for example, check whether the given values of x is the solution of a given equation or not. That means, as we can see in chapter 2 also, some values are given and you check that the given value is the solution, is the root, is the value of a equation or not. So in this case, you just replace the x by the given value, and if you get the p of that value is for example alpha, so p of alpha is equals to 0, that means p of that value is equals to 0, then that value will be the solution of your given equation. So in this case, first you can see that x square minus 5x plus 6, where x equals to 2. X equals to 2 is the value to given to you. Now put x equals to 2, you get P of 2 is equals to 0. Okay, so in this case, yes, x equals to 2 is the solution of given equation. But whereas in a second example, you can see that P of x is equals to x square minus x plus 1, where x equals to 1. So just replace the x by 1 in the equation. So you can see P of 1 is equals to 1. So in this case, P of 1 is not equals to 0. That means the x equals to 1 is not a solution of a. The first method for the solution of the quadratic equation is factorization method. For example, we use this type many times in our chapter 2 also, in chapter 3 also, to factorize the quadratic equations. So what was that? So x square minus 2x minus 15 is equals to 0, for example. Okay, so in that case, coefficient of x square and the constant term, कोफिशिएंट ऑफ एक्स स्क्वायर एंड द कांस्टेंट टर्म मल्टीप्लाई करके जो वैल्यू आती है, यहाँ पे है एक्स स्क्वायर का कोफिशिएंट 1 और c है -15, तो 1 into -15 that means -15. So you have the two such variables whose addition or subtraction must be the middle term, must be the coefficient of x. Here the coefficient of x would be -2. सो -15 के आपको ऐसे फैक्टर्स लाने हैं जिसके प्लस या माइनस करके -2 आए. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे 5 3s are 15, वी ऑल नो दैट, बट वी वांट -2, so -5 plus 3. So that why I would like to write x plus 3 and x minus 5 is equals to 0. Now by the zero factor property, we give both the brackets 0, that means x plus 3 is equals to 0 or x minus 5 is equals to 0. Finally, we get x equals to -3 and 5. These are the two values, zeros or roots of the equation. Second method, a quadratic formula. This is all new to you all guys, but it is very important and it's very useful for solving the equations. For the quadratic equations, so quadratic formula is given by x equals to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, where b square minus 4ac is equals to 0 is called discriminant, and this is also known as Sridharacharya formula. The quadratic formula is also known as Sridharacharya formula. That means you can ask in exams that find the solution by Sridharacharya formula. Okay, so please do aware of this formula. For example, to solve the quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. So in that formula, what we do, we just compare our equation with our general formula, that p of x, or we can say y, is equals to ax square plus bx plus c. Okay, now from comparing this, we get our ABC, the coefficient of x square, x and constant term. So for example, here 2x square plus 5x minus 3 is equals to 0 is our quadratic equation. Then compare with general term, so we get ABC as follows. Now put this ABC values in our quadratic formula. That means we get our final solution. Okay, one main thing is important here, the plus or minus term. Okay, minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac. What's that plus or minus b? Because as we all know that this is a quadratic equation, highest power is a 2, so there is at most 2 0, so one for plus and one for addition. As you can see that in the last term, -5 plus 7 divided by 4 or -5 minus 7 divided by 4. So from that we get final 1 by 2 and -3 as our final values. Another example, if we solve the x square plus 3x minus 10 is equals to 0. First step is, my dear friends, just compare with the general formula. We get our ABC with the sign. For example, here c is equals to -10. Some students don't write that minus, just write 10. So your answer must be wrong. So please write with the sign ABC and then just put it out in the quadratic formula, minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Then you get your final solution of quadratic. The next is completing square method. As its name suggests, complete the square. X plus, suppose for example, a plus b whole square. So what was that? The formula is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So this way we just solve our quadratic equation. In that first step is, if a is not equals to 0, that means the coefficient of x square, divide the quadratic by that coefficient, that means by a. Second step, write the quadratic in the form of this x square plus bx plus c, that means constant को RHS side move करना है. Third point is add b by 2 whole square to both the sides of the equations. Because in the mathematics, if we add something one side of equation, we need to add the second side, that means RHS side of the equation, because we have to balance the equation. So we need to add b by 2 from both the sides of the equation. Fourth step, factor the left side of the equation into a perfect square. That means in third step, as we see that x square plus bx plus b by 2 whole square is nothing but the a square plus 2ab plus b square. Therefore, the whole square is becomes a plus b whole square on LHS side, and on RHS side is as it is. Now fifth is, because we have to find the value of x, so just move the square x plus b by 2 whole square, move to the RHS side, so it gets plus or minus the square root of the LHS term. So this way we can find the quadratic equations, the values of x. Example, quadratic completing square method. Quadratic equation is x square plus 5x plus 5 is equals to 0. As you can see that in this equation we don't have the coefficient of x square, so we don't need to divide the coefficient of x square, that would be 1 only. So what we do, so first we have to multiply the 2, and if we multiply something then we have to divide as well as. So first step is x square plus 2 into 5 by 2. ओके गाइस, समझ में आया कि 2 मल्टीप्लाई किया तो वही टाइम पे हमने क्या कर दिया, 2 डिवाइड कर दिया. तो जो सेकंड टर्म है आपका इसलिए भी बना है कि 2 इंटू 5 बाय 2, यानी कि हमने कुछ करा ही नहीं है. 2 बाय 2 और 2 कट हो जाएगा तो क्या है वो 5 एज इट इज है. इसलिए हमको इक्वेशन बैलेंस करने के, अगर मैंने 2 मल्टीप्लाई किया है तो 2 डिवाइड किया है वो सेम टाइम पे. ऐसा क्यों किया है? जैसे कि मैंने पहले भी बोला कि इट्स अ कंप्लीटिंग स्क्वायर मेथड, यानी कि स्क्वायर बनाना है मुझे. कंप्लीटिंग स्क्वायर क्या होता है हमारा, a प्लस बी होल स्क्वायर, ए स्क्वायर प्लस दूसरा टर्म क्या होता है 2ab. जो वो 2ab होता है ना, वो हमें 2 इंप्लीमेंट करना है हमें यहाँ पर, इसलिए मैंने 2 मुझे मल्टीप्लाई करना था मिडल टर्म के लिए, तो मल्टीप्लाई करना था तो मैं ऐसे ही तो नहीं कर सकती, इसलिए 2 डिवाइड भी करना है वही टाइम पे, तो 2 डिवाइड किया. सो अब x के अलावा जो मिडल टर्म में 2 तो मुझे चाहिए, ओके, और x भी चाहिए 2ab x, तो मुझे वो भी चाहिए. तो 5 बाई 2 जो है इट्स b बाई 2, उसको मुझे प्लस करना है और एक बार माइनस करना है. अगर सेम टाइम जैसे मैंने बोला कि कुछ मैं ऐड करती हूँ तो सेम टाइम मुझे क्या करना पड़ता है, सब्ट्रैक्ट करना पड़ता है. ठीक है, या तो आप वो दोनों साइड प्लस करो, या तो आप एक बार प्लस करो और माइनस करो, फिर उसको थर्ड स्टेप में आप उसको RHS साइड ले जाओ. एज वी कैन see here in the third step, 5 by 2 whole square is goes to the right side, then it becomes plus. Now from the LHS side, as you can see, it's a square plus 2ab plus b square. दिख रहा है formula, तो this is the formula of nothing but a plus b whole square. So is equals to RHS side 5 by 4, and as we move the square to the RHS side, x is equals to minus 5 plus or minus root 5 divided by 2. So here we have our 2 solutions of the quadratic equation. Who has the coefficient of the x square. So in this example we just need to do in our first step is divide the whole equation by the coefficient of x square, and then it as it is as the example 1. Okay, so we don't need to again anything, so just multiply by 2 and divide by 2 and then b by 2 whole square, add the both the side or one time add and subtract them, and then square goes RHS side, it becomes square root of the RHS, and finally we have the values of x. Now, the relationship between the discriminant and the nature of roots. This is also a very important part of the chapter 4, discriminant and nature of root. As we see earlier, what is the discriminant? Discriminant is nothing but the b square minus 4ac. Is it a part of a quadratic formula? Okay, without that we can't do we can't find the roots of the equations. That means what it helps us to find the roots. So if we find b square minus 4ac and if it would be greater than 0, then we can know earlier before moving we can know that it has a two real different roots. The equation have two real and different roots. For example, x equals to 2, x equals to 3, like that. Okay, then second point is if b square minus 4ac, the discriminant b square minus 4ac is equals to 0, then the equation has one real root. Exactly, there is a two real but equal roots. Okay, for example, x equals to 2 and x equals to 2. So in general, we can say that it's nothing but 2, but it's only 1. So one real root. And the third point is b square minus 4ac is less than 0. That means if it's a negative. Suppose ki b square minus 4ac we find and we get minus 18 or minus 20 like this. That means it's a less than 0. So does not exist any real roots. There are the imaginary roots. So in this chapter we don't need to find any imaginary roots. We just clarify, we just write this one sentence, there does not exist any real roots. Discriminant, also known as delta, it is also known as capital D. You just ask in exams that find the D or discriminant for the quadratic equations. And this is nothing but the nature of roots like a human beings. So two roots, that means greater than 0, that means two real and different roots, is equals to 0, that means two real equal roots, or we can say one real root, and less than 0, that means a no real. For example, 3x square minus 2x plus 1 by 3. There is a equation and find the discriminant for this equation, hence find the nature of its roots. Find them if they are real. So if they are real, then you have to find, otherwise stop the process. So equation, we have the equation. Comparing these equations, as you can see here, the constant term has a denominator 1 by 3. So we just take the LCM and make our equation balance as 9x square minus 6x plus 1 is equals to 0. Then compare with general equation and we get our ABC and put it down in our discriminant capital D as follows: b square minus 4ac, and you get d is equals to 0. In this case, you get d is equals to 0. That means there are the, what is the nature of roots? There are the two equal real roots, or we can say one real root exists. Okay, in this case d is equals to 0, but if you get d is greater than 0, that means there are the two real different roots. If you get d is no less than 0, that means there are no roots exist. Lastly, I would like to compare the three method of our quadratic equation chapter, and for the same equation x square minus 6x plus 5 is equals to 0. That's why you can differentiate the what to do and what not to do in the three methods: the factorization, completing square, and quadratic formula. All the three methods are different from one another, but it was as simple as that. Quadratic formula is the easiest and little bit easier method from these two also. I can say by the completing square method. Factorization is also very easiest, the simplest method. And applicable quadratic formula is applicable for all equations. Okay. So you are watching the video, and please subscribe the channel for the latest videos and learn from the career. Thank you.